Hi everybody, it's Mark Schroeder once again here from Charter Porter, running through another of the sequence of Aluma tutorials. This is number 6, and today we're going to be looking at using the Document Studio tool, the second way to classify documents. Number 5 we looked at using the command line interface and a bunch of folders with samples within each folder that were then zipped up and submitted for classification training. Today we're going to use this utility called the Document Studio. This again is available within your Aluma subscription in the tools section there on the right once you've logged in. This is what you'll get. You'll get a build number, and then within there you'll get these 5 folders. Everything that you need is actually in this thing called the bin folder. Document Studio is an executable in there. You can just straight run that, and this is what you'll get when you do. Takes a few seconds to initialize, but this is the Document Studio platform. What this is going to do for you is allow you to import a set of folders or files and then use them to train. It's a really powerful tool, as I said, so we'll get straight into this. So what we need first off are some files to train against. You'll have some mortgage documents. I've downloaded some Companies House financial statements and so on, company data basically from Companies House. These are available as PDFs for download from the site. You would need to run the OCR process on those files so that you've got an OCR layer, because by default the PDF that you get downloaded does not have a text layer. I use Adobe Acrobat, I mentioned that before, to do that sort of batch process of adding a text layer, a searchable PDF text layer behind. Okay, so we're sat here. Let's have a quick look at the interface. What you're going to see on the right are the images that you download, and on the left you're going to see the metadata engine, metadata side of things, if you like, where you batch organize things. So what we need to do first is grab some files, and we have some files in here. I've got a new lot that I've called classify, and I've got sample 1 and sample 2. Sample 1 are going to be our test files, and sample 2 we're going to sample 1 are our build files that we're going to build the classifier against, and sample 2 will be the test files. So that's the folder name that we need to get hold of. Let's copy that. Obviously you can navigate to where you want to go, but we're going to import this folder. Control V, sample 1, select folder. Document splitting, we're going to say each file is a document. Okay, you've got other options here. You can say each page is a document, or you can split every finite number of pages. That's pretty much what we're going to do from here, nothing more to do from that. So right now it's sucking in those files. We can see we've got some corporate data there, an annual return, and it hasn't seen any of these yet. If the OCR, so remember it relies on an OCR layer to do its classification. If any of those hadn't come up as having any OCR data, they would show here as blank. But we're going to do the first of several stages here. We're going to ask the system to cluster these documents by similar types. So we're not yet classifying. The system hasn't seen these at all, but we're going to ask it to group them by things it thinks are similar. And you can see it's done that. It's passed these files. There's no labeling, there's no classification yet. That's down to us as experts in these documents, if you like, to decide. So all of group A seem to be these things called confirmation statements. All of group B seem to be the certificates. Nice. And it's doing that not by the look of the document, it's doing that by the text within it. And that's really important and subtle, because you'll see over time that these forms change, but the text essentially doesn't. So although the layout of the document changes, its look and feel might change, its intent, the purpose of the document, its classification hasn't. And that's why it's better generally to use the content to identify a document type rather than how it looks. So there's some appointments. Group D, there's some annual returns. They're all nice and consistent. There's some appointments. Oh, this is interesting. So these are different appointment types. So it's still appointments. So we can tell it. It's grouped those differently. There may be different text, but we can specify that those two types of things are in fact the same thing. We'll show you how to do that in a minute. So that was type A and type C are actually the same thing, appointment of director. Type C and type E were appointment of director. And we've got those Fs as well, seem to be appointment of director, but an even older form. Gs, there's a certificate. I think we saw those before. So Gs, yeah. So Bs and Gs. So you're beginning to see that it's just done the clustering, but we can call these things the same. So we know that type Bs are all certificates. So we can say that those are certificates. Certificates. And you see what I did was highlight those 5 documents that I'd looked through that were certificates, highlighted them all, and then just keyed into one of the fields certificates, and it will go ahead and batch those up. I think we decided that Fs were certificates as well. No, maybe it was G. Yeah, so the Gs seem to be certificates too. So we can similarly call those certificates. So those Gs, I'll call those certificates. I just hit the C character having highlighted them, and it knew that there's only one classification beginning with C. In fact, there's only one classification. So we picked that one. So those are the certificates. These are appointments. So we know that these are appointments. So those go appointments. And we had seen some others of those, I think. Yes, these E's were also appointments. Let's check first and last. Yep. So A, and it's done the same thing. I just hit character A. There's only that one classification beginning with A. But now we have 2 classifications. What we can also do is hover in the top left-hand cell of this left-hand pane, and you can see you can choose other columns to display, and some of these might be familiar from the first exercise we did for classification. We could see whether they were confident, and we could see how confident they were, in other words, the confidence level. This now becomes quite powerful because you get the color coding, and you recall that anything over a 1 it's reasonably confident about. Anything below 1 you get this sort of increasingly less confident. But at the moment, just while I'm labeling, I think I can get rid of the confidence and confident and just stick with these while I carry on building the classification. So these D's were annual returns, and I think we thought A's were annual returns. I know they were confirmations, so let's go with those. Let's go with confirmations. This time there's a classification beginning with C, so we need to say a bit more. Confirmation. Confirmations. So those. What are these? These are annual returns. Those are appointments. Appointment. Yeah, let's make those appointments because they all are. Okay, D's were annual returns. Yeah, I'm sure we had some more of those somewhere. Were they H? Certificates, so they're certificates again. It's a different look and feel. Certificates, oops, certificates. The D's we said were annual returns, the confirmations. Let's do these annual returns. Appointments looking good. Okay. Eyes. The confirmations. All are. Actually, if I don't do that, I can tell it to do a best guess now. So number 4 looks like a confirmation. We've seen something similar. So if I say classify, auto classify, best guess, let's see what happens. Interesting. It thinks that that is a appointment. Either that's finger trouble for me, or let's see if that does anything. Okay. What I'm going to do now is get my confidence level column up and just take a look at the sort of results that we've got so far. So this time I'm sorting by confidence. You can sort by any of these column headings. Let's sort by confidence. So I've told it to use its best guess to work out what these are. There'll be some that it hasn't seen before, because these are, if you remember, the clusters started A, B, C, D. These are like, either there's very few examples of these. I've used this best guess confidence level. If I said just use a low confidence level, it wouldn't attempt to try and to classify them, which is probably more sensible. So it thinks, it hasn't seen this one, but it thinks it's a certificate, and it's right. So now it's, because I've clicked on it, it was unseen before. Because I've clicked on it, it said it's seen. Now if I hit carriage return on that, that then becomes confirmed, and that means it attributes a lot more weight to me as a human confirming that it is. And it's had a knock-on effect of making these other ones, it's labeled as certificate, that much more confident. So let's see if it's right. Well, it thinks it's a certificate. I'd say that's probably more, those are probably more financial statements. So annual returns, that's a compliance document. We saw compliance before, I think. No, we didn't. We haven't seen compliance. So these are all kind of new. That one is compliance. I'm going to change that to compliance. It's a new one. Compliance. Let's take a look at some of the other ones in here. These are all the ones that we did manually. These are unseen, so it's pretty sure that these are appointment documents, even though it hasn't seen them, and it's right. That's good. I've confirmed that. That makes that much more confident. Let's get into the sub ones, the ones and less. Annual return, that's good. Yeah, we can confirm that. That's an appointment. It's doing this in real time. It doesn't matter really how many hundreds or thousands of documents you have in here. It's pretty fast. And every time that you make a change to the classification of a document, it updates its records and cross-checks against all of the other samples that it has. So it's real-time sort of learning as you go. Confirmation, yep, that is a confirmation. Good with that. Annual return. Yep, that's a confirmation. All good. Let's get into these riskier ones, these less well-known ones. Confirmation, it's not sure about this. As it goes, that is a confirmation, so well done. That's a certificate, yeah, I think we've already confirmed that. These are accounts. So glad we checked. I think we had them. What do we call them? best to check if you've got something that you know you've named annual return. So this is an annual return. That's that one's a certificate. That's good. Let's look at this one up here. These are annual return. Although it says accounts, I'm going to call these annual returns because that's what the other one was called, and they're similar documents. So that's annual return. So that helped a lot. That really made a change. By identifying this one, it's then made it so much more confident for the others, because they use slightly different terminology, but they were the same thing. So that's really, really helped. And I've only got 2 that aren't there or thereabouts, so that's pretty good. For the sake of 15 minutes of training or so on, we've got ourselves quite a good sort of cohort of documents. There's loads to do, loads of power and flexibility in this Document Studio tool. Time doesn't really allow. We could spend a whole day on this, but you can view the text layers, you can view the next document and previous document from the one in the list. If you want to match these back, let's just quickly do this one. This is a compliance document. I think the other one was a compliance document. Yep. In fact, it's the same one. Compliance. We've got a duplicate in there. Accounts, yes, we call those. This is a certificate. Yeah, so that's cool. You've got these different statuses that I mentioned. So the unseen ones are the ones that it's done itself. Then you have manual, where I've physically told it. From unseen, you click on it once. So this unseen appointments, I click on it once, it becomes seen, because there it is. But this is actually different. It's lucky we looked at this one. This is a striking off. So strike off. That's a confirmation. So this is a strike off as well. Strike off. Okay, there's only 2 examples of those. I used confidence level. I think I used low, but if you went to high or medium, you might see some of those missing. If we go to, I want you to only show me extremely highly confident things, then you see some of these classifications disappear. If I return them to what they were before, confidence level of low, we'll see that it comes up with those. So that's a good way to filter out those ones. Don't let the system be use best guess, because when you're training, it will be just that. It will be just guesses. Really cool feature here is that you can now commit this classification. You can save this classification project. Give it a name. We can put it into classify, and we can call it Comp House Classifier Project. Okay. What then you can do is, because this is actually hooking into your subscription of Aluma, you can deploy that classifier that you've just configured and push it out into your system. What we can do now is use those sample documents and see how we get on. So if I grab all of these, this was our training set, if you recall. We're going to delete those, or remove them, I should say. Remove selected documents. You sure? Yes, I am. And we're going to import folder. And this is a second sample set. It hasn't seen these, and there may indeed be different documents. There will be different documents, but there may be unseen document types. Let's see how we get on. Each file is a document, not each page is a document. If you had each page as a document, even though they're multi-page PDFs, each page would be rendered separately, and essentially you'd be training every single page as an individual document. Okay. This time we have a blank, and what a blank means, as I mentioned to you, is that there is no OCR layer behind that. And you can verify that by looking at the page text. And there is literally no text, and that isn't true for the others. So for example, this one or this one, we can look at the page text. We can look at the page text, and we can see that we have got text, and that text, good or bad, is what you're relying on to get your classification results. Okay, so let us run the classifier. Classify. Classify, please. Why have I not managed to get the classifier running on that, even though I've saved the project? Let's import the other folder again. Sample 1. Open. 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 What did I say? File. Import folder. Sample 1. Select folder. Each file is a document. Yep. Classify. Classify. Confidence level. Best guess. Okay, there we go. Cool. We had to sort of fiddle a little bit there. That's either my finger trouble, not sure. But we got there in the end. So I'm going to change the confidence level to higher. And we can see that we've got these various different confidence levels. We've got the a mix of the trained documents and the untrained documents. Let's just check what our confidence level is. We've got medium. Let's go with low and start taking a look at some of these. So there's what this is saying to me is that there's quite a few completely new document types in that second set of training documents. So let's just have a look and see if that is the case. So this is financials, annual returns. See how that makes a difference. Carry on doing that. That was an annual return, that one. Annual return, because it was the same. That one we know is a certificates. In fact, if we go ahead and cluster, then they should all be similar. So that's a change of address. We haven't seen those before. Change. Terminate. Address. Address. Change. Appointment. We'll call it an appointment, even though it's a termination of appointment. We'll class those as, so that's an appointment. Change of particulars. We'll call that all appointments. Those are finance, so that's no. What would we call them? Annual return, didn't we? Annual return. Yeah, it's got a few of those. It's getting there with those. That's good. So, yep. Return. Okay, I'm going to change the confidence level to best guess and see what we get. just for shits and giggles. These ones with lower confidence almost certainly, or very likely, would need good scrutiny. It's quite possible it won't have seen many of these document types. Yeah. In fact, those results are pretty poor. So we can do something like, let's have a think. We can see we've done the confidence level, done whether it's confident or not. It says it's confident. Oh, I know, we can do similarity, so that's quite a cool one. So if we pick similarity, then we have a reference one, and we say similarity, find similar, find similar ones of these. Now let's see here what it's saying. It's saying, yeah, I'm 100% sure that these are certificates, and it would think that because they are. I got that, for some reason I've got that listed as a certificate, and it's not. Sorry, I've got it listed as an annual return, and it's not. It's a certificate. So that is throwing it. So that's my bad. So I need to reclassify those, and this is probably what's throwing it out. I need to reclassify those as certificates. And that should hopefully start to make things look a little bit better. Okay. And that's cool. And what else have we got in here? Those are certificates, but they're quite different from the ones that we looked at before. Okay. Let's look at the least confident ones again. And we're going to use that similarity feature this time. It's got no confidence in these. It's got no confidence, and that's because, oh yes it is. It is an appointment. So let's find similar. It's found 3 appointment documents. Yep. Yeah, that's actually good. So it's done that. I'm confirming that. That's made that a lot more confident. I'm confirming that one. I'm going to confirm that one. That's good too. Yeah, it's getting a lot more confident. These, it's saying, are quite a way different from our reference ones, but nevertheless they are right. So this is different. This is an application for incorporation of so this is an LLP. So we'll call that NLP. There's some subtlety here. If you've got like application to form a company, you might just want to have application as a generic classification as opposed to limited liability company application versus any other kind of application. But in this case, I'm going with more with a very specific, extensive set of classifications. There's different merits for both. Generally speaking, people can overdo the number of classifications that they insist they need. We've seen hospitals where there's many thousands of different classifications, but actually what they want is maybe 30. They just want 30 groupings, and that's more than enough for them to get value out of that classification. If you've got some thousands, it's always open to interpretation and confusion. It's a lot more awkward to maintain and manage. So we recommend less is more. Okay, yeah, these are all appointments. This is all going a bit better now, thankfully. Let's go back to our confidence levels. Let's get the least confidence ones again, and let's take another look. Okay, our friends are certificates. That is a certificate, well done. That should increase the confidence. That's a certificate. There's only one of those, so we're never going to be that confident with those. That was the address change. This is a winding up, so this is winding up. Up. There's probably a more elegant name for it than that, but certificate. Okay, good. Once again, we're going to go through the confidence filter, change it the other way around. So the least confident again are going to be at the top. Yeah, no, we've got annual return there. That's an annual return. Confirm it. It's a confirmation. Return confirmation. Is that a confirmation? It is a confirmation. Confirmation. Yep. Good with that. Those ones we know are going to be low because there's only one example of each of those. Annual return, that should be higher because that is an annual return. Well, yeah, we've only seen a few of those. Annual return. There's an annual return. Confirmation. That is an annual confirmation. Oh, that was a lot happier. That's another confirmation. That is an annual return. That's a confirmation. That's a confirmation. Confirmation. Annual return. Okay, now we're cooking with gas. Annual return. Yep. Annual return. Let's go back to our confidence levels again. In the right order. Getting there, I think. Fine tweaking. So these are unseen confirmations. Let's see how we've got on with these. Yeah, so it's a constant sort of iterative process. As I modify some things, if there's some ambiguity there, or I haven't done a good job, or I've misinformed the system, you might have to go back and just use the various tools that you saw to sleuth your way to that that discordant file. I'm pretty much there now. I think the ones that haven't been confident are now probably as far as I want to go right now. I think I've got it, given it a good start. These ones are obviously obscure. Okay, so that's a mortgage. I don't know if I even had that as a... I probably got it set to... What level have I got? I've got it set to best guess. So let's set it to low confidence. And then the ones that we haven't got. Yeah, different ways to do this. So that is a certificate. We know about those. Certificate. That's a mortgage. I don't know what I've got there. Charge or mortgage. Have I got something like that? No, we'll put mortgage. If you make a mistake in the name, let's see. You could confirmations. Cool. And I think we're pretty much there. I think we had those as appointments. Great. Yeah, we are there now. That is actually... It took a little while. I made the mistake, so you don't have to. That old chestnut. But we're in pretty good shape. These ones will never get better than that because there's only one example of each. So I'm happy with that. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to deploy that classifier. And this is my path. I'm going to obviously hide those from you because that's my client ID and client secret. And let's just take a look. So let's go with Aluma list classifiers. I've got it there somewhere. Aluma list classifiers. Yay, there's company's house. And now that is now deployed into our Aluma subscription. So this was using the Document Studio tool. We could have done this in real time with the customer's documents, and we'd have had a trained classifier that we could then use to test other documents coming into his digital mailroom. Really powerful tool, really compelling when you look at it with something like medical records, how you can work with a clinician or a medical records expert and have them go through absolutely live files that would otherwise take them, I've seen 10 and 15 minutes sometimes for ambiguous documents that a human needs to classify. You tell it once definitively and it will correctly interpret those every single time, no matter if they change in their look and feel, providing the text layer behind is the same. Really powerful. There was a lot there, a lot of mistakes I made, a lot of variation, probably not even the best way to do some of those things. It's an amazingly powerful tool, and it's up to you to get the best out of it. Have a play, use your own documents. Remember, they've got to be in PDF, searchable PDF. A really great tool, and I look forward to getting your feedback on this, the 5th, I think. No, the 6th training session for the Aluma platform. Next, we're going to look at some more in-depth bits and pieces around the platform. I think we're going to have a look at redaction. That's going to be quite an interesting part. So look out for redaction for the next one, which is going to be number 7, I think. Anyway, that's it for now. Take care. Talk to you soon. Cheers.